chicken and dumplings, a classic comfort food. Did you know you can make it right in your Instant Pot pressure cooker? I'm going to show you how coming up. Hi, I'm Deborah. You're watching The Last Minute Cook, where I share quick and delicious recipes that you can make at the last minute and feel good about what you're serving. So if you're new here, consider subscribing, and you'll need to ring that little bell to be notified of my future videos. Also, down below you can check the show notes for full detailed information on this recipe. So let's get started with our Instant Pot chicken and dumplings. So for this recipe, we are going to use about 2 pounds of chicken thighs. I've chosen thighs because they are tender and they're easier to shred when you're making a one-pot meal. We are going to be using about a half of a large white onion, 1 potato, and we will use a couple of teaspoons of garlic and some melted butter, and the flour and baking powder and salt that I've got over here, we'll use that to make a biscuit kind of topping. So let's start with sauteing our onions and our garlic in a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon or so. We're going to go to the saute feature on our Instant Pot, and we're going to go ahead and put that to high because we want to get this going. So we'll hit start, and while that's warming up, I'm going to quickly chop up this onion, and we'll go straight into our pot with that. Some of those are a little bigger than I would normally do, but we're going to use them anyway. And about a tablespoon of olive oil, just to saute these onions down, with our 2 teaspoons of garlic. I'm using minced garlic. I like to keep that on hand. It's easier for me to reach for. If you're using fresh garlic, you would use about 4 cloves to get the same flavor that 2 teaspoons of minced will give you. So this, because we're on high, won't take too long to cook down these onions a little bit. You don't want that garlic to burn, so we do need to pay attention to that and stir that kind of regularly. Also going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter to give us a little bit more depth of flavor in this. We want a hearty chicken dinner. That butter just gives it a little something. So we'll stop that saute. It's a good time to scrape up any stuck bits. If your garlic has stuck or anything is sticking, you can add the broth while the pot is still warm. And that just helps you bring up those stuck bits so you don't get that burn signal once we're pressurizing. Make sure the bottom of the pot is nice and smooth. Okay, so I've got 2 cups of chicken stock. You can also use chicken broth, but the stock is a little bit more flavor. Now let's put in our chicken. Okay, so this is about 2 pounds or so of chicken thighs. I like to use the thighs. It's just a more tender for a dish like this. Then after our chicken is in there, we are going to add our potatoes and our mixed vegetables. I'm using 1 potato that's diced, cut into kind of cubes, about the same size cut so that they cook kind of evenly. And if you really like potato, go a little heavier on that. But this is 1 just russet baking potato. We're going to put that in, and I've got 2 cups of a mixed frozen vegetables. So it's got carrots and corn and peas and green beans, and I get the kids to eat it because it's got potatoes and chicken and a doughy topping, so it makes it easier to get the kids to eat the veggies. Okay, so we'll just mix that all in. All right, so once our potatoes, our vegetables, our chicken, and our stock is in there, we're going to quickly make the dumplings. So I'm using a 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. In lieu of this, you can also just use 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. But if you don't have self-rising flour on hand, you can make it with this mixture that I'm using now. I'm also using 1/2 stick, that's 4 tablespoons of butter melted. Put our butter right on in. You don't have to use the stock, you can use milk. You can even use water, you just need a little bit of a liquid. I want these to be pretty thick so that they'll keep their form and they'll stay right on top of that liquid and the potatoes and the chicken while it's all coming to pressure. We're gonna form this into little kind of biscuits. 1/2 cup of chicken stock with your flour mixture, and this gives you a good, look at that. That's what we're looking for right there. It's moist but not falling apart and not too, like it's not drippy. So it's holding its form. So I'm gonna take these a little at a time and I'm just gonna put them right on top. Just lay it right on top of your chicken and potatoes. Some of this is gonna go down into the liquid and that's okay. I could probably have made these go a little bit further if I'd made them a little bit smaller. We may have some fighting over our dumplings here, but they look perfect and we're gonna get them going. All right, so we're gonna go to our manual pressure cook and we are gonna put this for 20 minutes on high pressure and make sure we're in sealing, not venting. And we'll go 20 minutes on that, about a 10-minute natural release, and then we'll check on it and see how our chicken and dumplings look for the Instant Pot conversion. So I'm excited. Okay, we have pressure cooked this for 20 minutes. It took a few minutes to come to pressure. It pressurized for 20 minutes. I allowed a 10-minute natural release. And now we're gonna take a look inside and see this. And wow, these look perfect. Okay. And just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing that. We would love to have you join us. We do videos twice a week. Okay, let's take a look at this. So you've got in here beautiful dumplings. And like I said, I could have done these half the size. They would probably have gone further, but they look great just the way they are. So let's serve this with these yummy vegetables and chicken. Okay, yum. This is so yummy. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's look. So we want to check the texture and consistency of our potatoes, our chicken. It is so tender. Look at that. It just falls off. Look at that. And let's check our potatoes. Yes, the fork just goes beautifully right through that. And our dumpling. Oh, it's so good. It's like a biscuit dumpling that just is waiting to absorb this wonderful soup in here. This is delicious. This is absolutely perfect. And we've got homemade dumplings right in this, so give it a try. Thank you so much for watching. Buon appetito, and we'll catch you next time.